Well, what a surprise, dude. What a time to be a Pac-Man fan. What a time to be a fan of this franchise. Because I'm sure all my fellow Pac people know this. The franchise was fucking dead. Like, it was dead. They weren't doing anything with it. It was fucking... It was marketing, nostalgia bait, and a cash cow that they didn't really do anything with. They released a lot of low-effort products that could return a decent profit. That's what they were doing for, like, multiple years since Ghostly Adventures failed. Since Ghostly Adventures failed, this character was dead. And and then it's not just like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like Pac-Man's the only classic Namco IP that they shafted, because they definitely haven't. They shafted everything. They treat the classic franchises as just like, that they're there, they have their time, and we've moved on pretty much. Up until about 3 months ago. Like I don't understand, like, from someone from a fan base that was starving, we now have so much to chew on. In terms of, like, the Pac-Man Museum Plus very good collection, followed by the announcement of Pac-Man World Repack, and now they announced a fucking movie. What a fucking 0 to fucking 180. Like, what the shit? Like, it's like, throughout all the confusion, like, you're sitting here trying to process everything. Pac-Man World Repack's not even out yet. It comes out, what, next week? This week, right? Yeah, 21st, or is it the 26th? It might be 2 weeks. Let's look that up real fast. I think it's the 26th, the more I think about it. World Repack, release date. I think the Raiders have a game that day, too. Yeah, August 26th. Okay, so we got about 2 more weeks before Repack. And earlier this week, they dropped this bombshell that Pac-Man's getting a fucking Hollywood fucking movie. Look, I saw pixels, okay? For all the shit Pixels gets, like, the Pac-Man part wasn't terrible. You can get some moderate enjoyment out of it and come back and watch that same once every 2 years. If you're a fan of Pac, at least. But, so, one of the things I've heard is, what the hell are they going to do? Like, a lot of people, you can tell they probably don't know much about the franchise when they say this. Like, but the first thing I hear is, what the hell are they actually going to do to convert Pac-Man into a movie? And if you are deeper into this franchise, there's a lot of stuff they actually could do. There's a lot of stuff they could do. What they're going to do, who knows? But I figured I would take a second as a fan to present some ideas about what we could do, what we shouldn't do, what we need to, like, very, possible casting choice, etc., etc. So, let's get started here, bro. The very, very, very first thing that they need to do is they need to ditch Ghostly Adventures, which is what Namco's kind of doing that right now anyway. Continue to ditch the Ghostly Adventures art style and overall canon. That's the very first thing we need to do. I do not want to see Ghostly Adventures at all. We could possibly take some of the characters and reboot them. We're going to talk about that a little later, because as someone that actually, now that Pac-Man's getting a resurgence, I don't hate Ghostly Adventures as much anymore. So I've actually been throwing it on in the background at work. I think I mentioned this in my last stream. I've been throwing Ghostly Adventures on in the background at work, and for what it is, it actually had some potential. If they just cleaned up the designs and made the dialogue a little better here and there, and some characters don't make sense, but it actually did have a little bit of potential, so we don't have to scrap everything, but for the most part, Ghostly Adventures almost killed the franchise. The design of Pac-Man needs to be the world design, and we need to, like, just ditch 9 out of 10 things Ghostly Adventures tried to do. The berries, I don't want to see those fucking power berries. Don't do that. Just keep all of that out. It's not good. It made him into a fucking Kirby ripoff, and I don't want to see it. Keep all Ghostly Adventures shit out of it. Okay, as much as someone who respects that for what it was trying to do a little bit more now, just no. Okay, next, I do not want to see Pac-Man as a kid. This kind of goes along with the Ghostly Adventures thing, but I decided to kind of make it into its own thing. If you've seen the Sonic movies, one of the things that I, as a Sonic fan, kind of don't. My biggest gripe with Sonic and the Sonic movie is that they decided to make him kind of like a kid. Okay? And for what, to be fair, that version, it kind of worked, okay? Like, it was fine. But I don't want to see that. And I know the Sonic producer is the one who's doing this movie, so it's going to be very easy to copy and paste elements of the Sonic movie there, which is kind of the next one I have here. But even if I don't want to see Kid Pac-Man. I saw Pac-Man as a kid in the Ghostly Adventures. It almost killed the franchise. I don't want to ever see it again. Okay, it's Pac-Man, not Pac-Kid. I want to see Pac-Man as an adult. And I think everybody does. I don't want to see Kid Pac-Man. I just don't want to see it. It's going to be very easy to target this movie towards kids and have Pac-Man be a kid and do the fucking floss, which they wouldn't do because Sonic already did it. Pac-Man will do the next Fortnite dance. But just no, I don't want to see Kid Pac-Man. I don't want to see it. Next, this is continuing with the themes that we shouldn't be doing, a rehash of the Sonic movie with Pac-Man in it instead. It'd be very easy to, like, bring Pac-Man to the real world and have him be the same fish out of water kind of character and just have him go through something similar to Sonic. Just don't do that. Come on, be creative here. The Sonic movie was good for what it was, and we don't need to rehash it with Pac-Man. There's no reason to do that. They're two separate franchises, two separate characters. Pac-Man would not fit Sonic's role in his movie, very much at all. He wouldn't. I don't think so. If he attempts to shoehorn him into that role, will change his character. Pac-Man is a family man. That's his character. His character is that he's the working class dad. Like, for real. That's his actual fucking character. He makes dad jokes all the time. Like, he's a working class father that's kind of out of touch. That's his character, bro. Next, this next one I have written down on what we shouldn't do, but I will get a few things clear here. Pac-Mom. I don't want to see Pac-Mom in the movie. I understand her role right now is to kind of serve as a Miss Pac-Man replacement, but if this is a big budget Hollywood movie, I don't want to see Pac-Mom at all. I don't want to see her. If you have to use a replacement, please use Pac-Marie. Please. Pac-Marie is by far the best one. Just please use her. And it's not even that she's great, because but here's the thing though. If this is a Hollywood project, part of the contract, because this is a Pac-Man movie, you need Miss Pac-Man. You need her. You need to use her. This is like one of the bad parts about an icon status. You have to use Miss Pac-Man. If not in this movie, maybe you could get away with one, but in the sequel, she has to be there. The casuals will be like, where the fuck is Miss Pac-Man? Like, it's just something that you have to do. So, I don't know how the whole contract works in regards to movies and stuff like that, because I know, like, they have, like, rights to re-release things with Miss Pac-Man, but they have to pay at games if they want to use her game. But, like, if they use the character herself, do they still have to pay them? I don't really know how that works. So the contract is confusing, but just bottom line, no Pac-Mom. And if you cannot do Miss Pac-Man, if you can't use her, don't use the family either. Don't use them. The family is a package deal, in my opinion. I don't want to see Chomp Chomp, Sourpuss, Pac Jr., Pac Baby if Miss Pac-Man is not in the movie. If Miss Pac-Man is not in the movie, do not do the Pac family. If you can either get around that clause and use all the characters anyway and not have to pay at games, then use them. Or if Hollywood is going to front the cash to pay at games, then you can use them too. That's another thing. Like, Namco might just say, okay, Hollywood wants to use this character. We don't want to pay at games because they fucking suck. Okay? So if you want to use them, you have to fork over the cash for them. And even then, they said that Namco said they're doing everything in their power to make their rights useless. So they might veto that altogether because they want the character back. If they give at games anything here, the floodgates might come down. Because if you do a movie tie-in game or something and Miss Pac-Man is in it, you might have to pay at games even more money. So overall, that whole thing's a fucking mess. But I don't want to see Pac-Mom is the point. If you can't use Miss Pac-Man, do not use the family. It's that simple. Next, what we shouldn't do. 4 ghosts as the main villains. I don't want to see that. That's so lazy and so cheap. Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde have never been the main villains in any real installment of this franchise. That's just a fact. bigger installment, like any platforming installment, they're never the villains. Ever. They're not main villain material. They're just not. And I don't want to see them as the main villains of the movie. That would be stupid. They have never served the role of main villain. And to do that now would be really lazy. Next, what they shouldn't do, whole thing is in a maze, or they like suck him out of the video game or something. So, I don't know, something stupid like that. I want references to mazes and stuff, but like, part of the Pac surgence, in my opinion, is we have to get out of the maze because he's been stuck in the maze since 2015. We got to get him out of it. So if the whole thing's in a maze, I don't want to see that. Next, make Pac-Man do cringe relevant dances. Don't do that. Like I said before, Pac-Man's character, he's an out of touch working class dad. Pac-Man doing a cringy Fortnite dance is straight up not in his character. Like, you could argue that an edgy Sonic from the 90s today might, I don't fucking know. But just who Pac-Man is as a character, like, the only reason that Pac-Man should be doing a Fortnite dance is to either poke fun at Pac Jr., who plays it, or just, like, try to, like, stay in touch with him or something. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean, lads? Oh, my goodness. There we go. Yeah, get it all back here. So, yeah, absolutely don't want to see that. Don't do that. Just please. So, those are the main points there about everything they shouldn't be doing. Okay? All of that would be the big flop, no, this movie's garbage, don't do that. Okay? Here are some experimental things that they could get away with. Okay? They could get away with this stuff. Okay? I really don't know about it, but they could get away with it, okay? First off, the human friend. We talked about the Sonic movie, and obviously a big part of the Sonic movie is the father-son relationship between the main human character and Sonic. I don't want to see that with Pac-Man. Pac-Man is an adult. If you have to have a human friend, they should be like There should be like two dads at a cookout. It shouldn't be father son. It shouldn't even be brotherly. It should be one adult speaking to another adult. Okay. Again, I would really just rather them not have humans in the movie altogether. But I'm sure they're going to throw a human character that's friends with Pac-Man in the fucking movie, and just make it just don't make it like father son. Again, I don't want to see Pac-Man as a fucking kid. And the other thing that they could get away with is pulling some villains that are a little obscure, okay? You got Mollusk from Pac in Time that could be the main villain. You have Betrayus, who if you wanted to reboot that character, he would technically be one of the stronger personality types to actually be in the movie, if you want to reboot him a little bit. There's the Witch from Pac-Man 2 and Pac in Time. You could use her. And then there's Irwin, of course, from World 3. I don't think they should do Irwin, though, even though he's one of the stronger personalities. But you shouldn't do Irwin because he's a little Eggman-esque, and there's no reason to like... I mean, you could do Irwin later, just in this first one. We're trying to avoid all comparisons to the Sonic movie, and seeing Irwin in like a ship or something, just no. I would rather not do that. But, he's an idea on the table that you possibly could do. Okay? And then the last character I want to bring up here, this is a good segue, because this section is not very long, but I want to bring up Pacman really fast, because it could be easy. It could be tempting to go, okay, we'll just use Pac-Man World 1's plot. Just do that. Just use that one. But we're getting Pac-Man World repacked. Do we really want Pac-Man World repacked and then Pac-Man World's plot being seen again on the screen as a movie? I don't know if that's something we want to do. I mean, it certainly wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. Like, I would see a movie about, like, a Pac-Man World movie with, like, the same plot and the same... Like, I'd go watch that, but it wouldn't be anything groundbreaking. So, segue there. But again, Pac-Man and Orson, definitely not too bad. Okay, what we should do. Here are the things that they absolutely should be including in the movie. Like I said before, Pac-Man World designs... First thing, every character should look like Pac-Man World. The Ghosts, Pac, Miss Pac-Man if she's in it, everybody. Just use the world designs. They work. They're good. They're time-tested. Use them. Next, this is kind of a tricky thing here, because if you watch Pac-Man media, and even the World games do this too, everything is called Pac. Pacopolis, Pac Village, Pac this, Pac that, Pac people, Pac animals, like Professor Pac. Like, in terms of relevant and intelligent world building, that is like, that sticks out. That sticks out. And that's some of the, as a writer, some of like the world building in this franchise has always bothered me. I just thought they always took it in the wrong direction. The one thing I actually do enjoy about Ghostly Adventures is how they don't call him Pac-Man very much in that. They call him Pac. I think that's what they should be doing. I think the character in universe, his name should be Pac, because that just makes the most sense to me. That way you can make him a part of the bigger world instead of the world being revolved around him, which is like, it's like, what isn't it called, Pac-Man World, bro? You're thinking too hard about it, but it still doesn't make sense when you're thinking about it. Like, it's not called Your Name World. Like they live somewhere, right? Like, that'd be like Sonic World. Like, if Mobius was called Sonic World, if the Mushroom Kingdom was called Mario World. Like, it doesn't make any sense to do that. Like, that'd be calling, like, the Mushroom Kingdom Mario Kingdom. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So I want to see less of an emphasis on calling things Pac. Like, my Pactrometer, my Pac powers, or whatever the fuck. I don't want to see that. So please, dear God, have Pac-Man just speak normally. Don't call things Pac things. Like, I don't want that. Could have put that one up there, but just emphasize that a lot less. All right, villain role. I think your main villain of this movie easily is Spooky. Spooky should be the main villain of this movie. If they don't use Spooky, I don't know what they're doing. Pac-Man World 2 is by far the most popular of the world games. It makes sense. The lore is that he's under the tree. It's perfect. He can come out at the beginning, get sealed back in at the end. You can do the golden fruits and the pout. Like, that Pac-Man World 2, okay, obviously as a movie, World 3 is technically the strongest in terms of world building, but nobody wants to talk about that. World 3 is technically the easiest transition. You can even use some of the dialogue. But Spooky is by far the easiest choice for a main villain. It's the most popular. It'll get the most butts in the seats. Spooky is your main villain. However, I do want to see Orson. Orson is one of the only world characters that is yet to make an official comeback. He's about to, because he's piloting Talkman in World Repack, I'm assuming. So it'll be Orson. It will be Orson's first appearance since Pac-Man World 3, this repack. And Orson in Pac-Man World 3 is a great character. So I want to see him in the movie. I want them to use him. He is by far the most underrated character in the entire franchise. And how he was not brought back for Ghostly Adventures, one, I will never know. But two, it's actually okay because his dignity wasn't destroyed. So, yes, I want to see Orson in this movie. Next, Professor Pac. Make sure he's in it. There's no reason for him not to be in this. He even survived the Purge, so you don't even have to pay at games to use him. So Professor Pac should definitely be in this movie. I do not want to see Sir C. If you really want to, you could reboot Cylindria and Spiral, though. I would rather you not, but Cylindria has more of a character than Spiral does, but, that's another day. No Sir C, I want Professor Pac. Next, I have here Galaga, Aliens, and Dig Dug. Maybe not for this movie, so I guess you could lump that up with things they could get away with. But definitely a sequel. I want to see the Galaga aliens invade Pac-Man. I've been saying this forever. That should be a game already. I don't know how it's not. Like, Pac-Man and Galaga need to have a relevant crossover where the Galaga bugs invade Pac-World. This is so easy and so free. I don't know why they haven't done it yet. I don't understand. They kind of play with the idea in Pac-Man World and with King Galaxian a little bit, but that's just one world. Like, I want an entire game dedicated to the idea. And then Dig Dug. If Dig Dug doesn't have a cameo, I'm going to be upset. Dig Dug deserves a cameo. Hell, you could make the human character Dig Dug if you really want to, but that's beside the point. And last, I'm not a big fan caster. I've never saw the appeal of that. But when I'm thinking about who's working in Hollywood today, and I'm thinking about who is the absolute best choice to play Pac-Man right now in Hollywood today, it is easily Ryan Reynolds. And I don't even like Ryan Reynolds. I don't even like the guy. I genuinely don't like many of his. I don't like his. I think Deadpool is very overrated, and it's like he was Detective Pikachu though, bro. He was already Pikachu. He doesn't need to play. I don't fuck Detective Pikachu. Right? If you have played Pac-Man World 3, and Ryan Reynolds, he's got the voice, he's got the derpy jokes. It's perfect. Ryan Reynolds is by far the most perfect casting choice for this character. And if they don't do it, the movie will be worse than it would have been otherwise. Ryan Reynolds as Pac-Man, literally perfect. He's got the voice. He's got the mannerisms. He's got the way he delivers a comedy line is like mirrors Pac-Man World 3. Just it completely mirrors it. And by far, if I'm Hollywood and Namco, I'm making sure that you give that man a phone call and see if he's interested in this. If he's not interested, there's nothing you can do. But in terms of a relevant casting choice right now, by far him. Hell, bring up the guy from Pac-Man World 3 and have him voice the character again. If you, it would certainly be better than a lot of other people. So there you go. So there's a lot that if you're a fan of this franchise, you know there's enough for them to kind of pull from when they're gonna do this. Is all I'm saying, lads. So I'm getting the hell out of here. GG's, boys.